Hi guys! Today I'm going to show you how to use your blind hem foot on your sewing machine. There are two types of feet you can use to make a blind hem. This one right here is the one that will usually come with your sewing machine. As you can see, this foot comes with a metal guide that is used to guide your fabric through. Also, it has a little curve where you can see the needle pass through. Both of these feet do basically the same job. This other one, which is my favorite by the way, has also a guide which is made of plastic that helps your fabric and your stitches go straight, and also for you to see where the needle is going to be. The cool thing about this foot is that it has a metal wheel that allows you to move the guide left or right according to your needs. The wheel will allow you to move the guide as far or as close from your needle as you need it to be. This time we are going to use the plastic foot to show you how to make a blind hem with your sewing machine. The very first thing we have to do is press our hem. Whether you are serging the edge and folding it only once, or as I'm doing here, folding it twice, the hem has to be very well pressed. Once you have it like this, we are going to proceed. Now here's the trick. You are going to take your hem, face it to you, and fold it backwards underneath the garment, leaving a space of about 1/4 of an inch from the folded edge of the hem. I like to use a ruler so I can be more precise at the time of the stitching. I make sure that the folded upper edge of the fabric is at the exact distance of 1/4 of an inch that I want it to be. Then I use pins or a basting hand stitch to keep everything in the same place. When I'm done pinning or basting my piece, I like to make sure that everything I folded and pinned down is at an even distance. On the right you can see the hem, and the left part of this fabric represents the garment that is to be hemmed. Now it's time to stitch. Select the blind hem stitch on your sewing machine. Now it's time to change our presser foot. Release the standard foot and change it for the blind hem foot. Lower the needle to bring the bobbin thread up and pull the threads back. Now it's time to sew our blind hem. Position the folded edge right next to the guide. We are going to make a couple of slow stitches to test where the needle is going to fall. First, the needle is going to make straight stitches, and then it's going to make one zigzag stitch right here. Here is when we are going to start to play with our positioning wheel. We need the needle to be as closest to the folded edge as possible. So you are going to move the guide left or right depending on the position of your needle, so that can happen. In this case, I am grabbing too much of the folded edge, so I'm going to move the needle to the left. I'm going to move the guide to the left so the needle grabs only the smallest portion of the folded edge as possible. Once you are happy with the position of your guide, lower the presser foot and the needle and check twice to make sure that the needle is actually grabbing the folded edge of the fabric. Once you are super sure that the needle is grabbing the folded edge, start sewing. And don't worry, the hardest part just passed. Now you just have to keep sewing and make sure that the folded edge keeps close to the guide so the needle can grab it when it makes the zigzag stitch. Keep doing this until you reach the end of your hem. This is how your stitch is going to look like. As you can see, the zigzag stitch is only grabbing about a thread of the folded edge of the fabric. Okay, so let's go back to the sewing table to see what happened here. Remove your pins. Okay, so let's put the hem back where it belongs. This is how it looks on the inside, and on the outside, check this out. It's almost invisible to the naked eye. The stitches are so small and are still holding their hem together. It's so cool. But check this out. This is what happens if the needle grabs too much of the folded edge of the fabric. It makes a visible stitch on the front of the fabric, and that's what we don't want. So, as much as you can, try to grab as little as possible of that folded edge. When you press the fabric, it looks even better. Check, this is how it looks in the front, and here is how it looks in the back. You have a perfect invisible hem stitch. You can use this technique to hem dresses, tops, even curtains. Really, everything you want. And as I told you before, even if you serge the edge, the process is exactly the same. Just make sure that the space is 1/4 of an inch. So to recap, the guide has to be right next to the folded edge, and the needle has to pass through the folded edge but as close as possible to the edge. This way, it won't make a visible stitch on the front of the garment. And there you have it. This is the tutorial of how to use the blind hem foot. If you like it, subscribe and give me a heart at the bottom of the blog page. Love you 100!